let's talk about how to tell if a link, or what's called a backlink, is good and worth pursuing. The bad news is that Google does not tell us, and the industry does not have a 100% foolproof method of determining good versus bad links. So we have to approximate, and I'm going to give you the ways to approximate. There are a few factors that are important. The first factor is the relevance of the linking website. If your website is about spaceships and the site that links to you is about cooking, the cooking site is obviously not relevant for the spaceships website. But if both websites are talking about cooking, they are relevant to each other and the link starts to gain more weight. So if another website is relevant to yours, it doesn't have to be gigantic or authoritative. The relevance will make the link valuable and impactful to your ranking. But of course, website authority does help. Google uses something called authority to determine how trustworthy a website is and how respectable it is. And the way it determines authority is by measuring how many other websites link to that website and how many mentions does it have across the web. Like if hundreds or thousands other websites mention or link to a certain website, then it's quite authoritative. But if almost no websites mention or link that other website, then it's quite unauthoritative. And obviously you want links from authoritative and relevant websites. Now, another thing you want to be aware of when determining whether a link might be good or not is where on a page it's located and how prominent it is on the overall website. For example, a link from another website's homepage to your website is usually a very good and strong link because there's only one homepage and it's reserved for the most important content. And links usually come from secondary pages like content pages. So let's say some content page on another website has a link to your website on a 1,000 word article. And if that link is coming below the article, even from somewhere in the comments, that link is nearly worthless or worthless. But let's say that same link is within the content, but somewhere towards the bottom of the page. If it's a page of 1,000 words, maybe it's around the 800 word place. That's pretty low on the page. So the link does have some value, but not as much as it would if it was in the first or second or third paragraph. The prominence matters. And also if the link is in the author bio, which is usually also at the end, that also isn't very valuable. A little bit valuable, but you want it to be higher up on the page. Now, another factor that's important is how prominent the linking page is on the overall website. Obviously, I mentioned that a link from a homepage is great, but if it's a page that's one click away from the homepage, that's also great. But if a link is on a page that's 5 clicks away from the homepage and you have to navigate, click, and then only get to that post on which the link to your website is, then that page isn't that important on that website because it's so far down and you have to click so far. And so Google just doesn't give a lot of value to those links on that page. So you want your link to be on a relevant website, authoritative website, high up on the page if possible, and on a page that's easy to navigate to. Obviously, you can't have all those great things with all links, but the more of those factors that you can get right, the more impactful those links will be to your ranking in Google search.